Hello everyone, thank you for clicking on the video. Today I would like to introduce to you the Edge Alpha by Ideally Atelier. And Ideally Atelier is a small company based in South Korea who make Mixboxes, hitboxes, arcade sticks, but are a little bit more known for their rhythm game controllers. And they sent me the Edge Alpha for free for the purpose of making this video, but all my opinions are my own. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit about how this thing is built, how you can customize it, what buttons it uses, what's the deal with the WSD pad and those buttons here. And yeah, now that I've won this game, let's begin looking at the bugs a little bit closer. So let me start by talking about the case. It's made from Japanese birchwood, which I think is really pretty. You can even see the wood grain a little bit. The dimensions of the Edge Alpha are 34 cm in length, 23 cm in width, and 5 cm in height. Height? I think it's height, right? And as you were able to see a moment ago, it's a perfect size for lab use. You can very comfortably use it on your lab. When we look at the sides of the Mixbox, we can see that it's not made from one piece, but that it is made from multiple layers. And when we take a look at the back side, you can see two things. First, there's no foam mat attached, and second, it is held together by 4 screws. The fact that there is no foam mat attached to the back is a little bit unfortunate because it means that the way it is now, it is kind of slippery on your lap. The way that Ideally Atelier mitigates that problem is they send you this rubber mat with the device, which you were also able to see at the beginning of the video. You place this on your lap and the Mixbox on top of it, and then it becomes pretty secure. Still, it would have been really nice if this rubber mat came attached to the back already. I will probably attach it myself at some point. Okay, so let us take a look inside. So as you can see, the cable management is very well done. The PCB is separated into multiple pieces. This one that I got uses a GB2040 firmware. And as you're probably all aware, it's compatible with Nintendo Switch, PC and PS3. But you can also order this one with a, for example, Brook Universal Fighting Board. And then it's compatible with pretty much everything. Or get a Brook adapter and then this one becomes also pretty much compatible with everything. One thing that I would like to mention here, the WSD piece is made by Ideally Atelier themselves and is a 3D printed piece. The button cables are really secure. I'm actually a little bit afraid of pulling these out. I wanted to pull them out to change the switches of the buttons because they are a little bit loud to me, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And another thing is that the smaller buttons here at the top, the setting buttons, they are soldered in, which I also think is a little bit unfortunate because if something goes wrong with the cable, at least for me, because they're soldered in, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to, repair it. But other than that, I really like how clean the entire insides look. Another thing I'd like to mention is that the Edge Alpha doesn't use USB-C or USB-A. It uses what I think is called a DIN connector, which has it's both good and bad. On the one hand, the DIN connector makes it pretty secure. On the other hand, I'd prefer a USB-C connection simply because if I go somewhere and my cable breaks, someone will have a USB-C lying around. They won't probably have a DIN connector lying around. So I just think it's, for compatibility's sake, a USB-C connection would have been preferable. But all those things can be changed. If you look on their website, which is linked in the description, you can see they have an option to buy this customized. And then you can change the connection, the button layout, the PCB it uses, etc. Man, I really need to upgrade my lighting. I've always some place like here where it's like blowout. I really dislike this. Anyway, let's talk about the WSD piece. So you have these two knobs here. You can loosen these and then you can change the angle of the WSD, which is really nice. I like to have it a little bit on an angle because I think it's a little bit more ergonomic, and then you just fasten them again. Let me pull one of the caps off to show you the switches. The WSD uses MX Cherry Silent Reds. My favorite, I really like these because they're very quiet. So I have absolutely no complaints with the D-pad. D-pad? No, with the WSD. The switches of the WSD, by the way, are hot swappable, so if you want to change them to something else, you are free to do so. So I don't really have any problems with the switches, the keycaps, and the way you can adjust the angle of the WSD. Everything is fine with that. One problem I do have though, and that is the following. If I put my right hand comfortably on the action buttons, my palm of my right hand is kind of on this height. But if I put my WSD hand on the device comfortably, my left hand now is actually lower and is pretty much above the corner of the Mixbox. And I kind of dislike this. You can see it also with where my thumbs are pointing, that they're not pointing at each other. So Ideally Atelier could change this easily by adjusting the placement of the WSD by 1 centimeter upwards. And now it would be way more comfortable and my hands would pretty much be on the same level. So if the WSD were here instead of here, it would be way better. This is also something that can be changed with customization. I talked to Ideally Atelier about this. Still, I would really like it if the WSD were 1 centimeter up by default. That is pretty much the only complaint I really have about the Edge Alpha. It's like 1 centimeter away from perfection. That's a great title for the video. The buttons I got, on the other hand, are too loud for me. It uses Crown SDB 202s, which as far as I know are known to be a little bit more on the loud side. But as I said before, you can also order this one with like gamer fingers. And let's be honest, if you're ordering a controller from South Korea, putting gamer fingers in there is like a no-brainer. Gamer fingers are awesome. I like them. Let's have a sound test, shall we? So personally, I really like the sound of the silent reds. Those are a little bit too loud for me. I'd like quieter buttons. But I like quieter buttons in general. Engagement bait, what do you think? Do you like how they sound? Let me know in the comments. Thank you. So let me switch to training mode for a second. I just want to show you that there is no like input delay or anything. It's very responsive controller. For someone like me who is pretty much unable to do backdashes on a lever, it's very easy with a WSD or leverless. So this works very nice, and wave dashes also work. I'm not as fast as Ulsan, but I'm getting there. One thing I still can't do are electrics consistently, if at all, especially if I'm trying to do them like this. I'm always like a few frames off. I can do them a little bit better if I do them this way, then I get them. But not if I'm trying to do them this way. I really want to learn Reina. Unfortunately, she's like very difficult for me. I don't really know any combos. No complaints about input delay or weird responsiveness. It works very well. Here on the top you have the start button. Here you have the reset button. This one is not allocated to anything in Tekken right now. This one is for recording, and you have like L3 and R3 on the sides too. But of course, because this one uses a GP2040, you can go into the web configurator and put like any input you want onto these buttons. So in conclusion, I can definitely recommend this controller. All the issues I have with it can be changed through customization before ordering. Still, if the WSD would be further up by 1 centimeter by default, I think that would be a great change of the device. And if you're ordering one, I would definitely go with gamer fingers. I hope that this review helped you in any way to make a purchase decision. And if you like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if I should change anything about the review, if I forgot to mention anything, if you want to see anything different, then please let me know in the comments and I will make sure to add that in the next review. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time.